you can pull this up, or I can pull it up. You want to?
Sure.
So whatever's live. Four, three, two, one.
Good morning, America. We're back at the People's Convention and we're live here. It's a beautiful day. Happy Father's Day to all of the amazing fathers out there. Fathers are so important. Families are important. And that is why I am so thrilled to be joined right now with Tia Bess with Moms for Liberty. And she is the National Director of Engagement with Moms for Liberty. Tia, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it is great to be here, and you and I were just talking off camera,
Yes.
and really it's just remarkable what's happening in America. Thank God for Moms for Liberty. So for people
Yes.
who may not know about Moms for Liberty, now we've been talking a lot about you folks, and we've had a lot of your associates on the Better for America podcast, but
Yes.
remind our great listeners what Moms for Liberty is doing and what you're all about.
Yes, ma'am. So, Moms for Liberty, we are fighting for the survival of American education in America. We're empowering, educating, and unifying parents. And we're holding all officials accountable from the local levels of government all the way to the top. We have a country to save.
We definitely have a country to save. And, you know, I always say that the family is the incubator of freedom. And what we're seeing happening in America today is government is actually taking our children, they're trying to indoctrinate our children in schools with tools like critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And even beyond that, there's I call it a gender cult out there.
Yes.
Essentially what they're doing in schools and preschools and kindergarten class is trying to teach our children that they can be in any body that they want to be. And of course, here at AMAC, we reject that idea. We believe that God doesn't make mistakes and that there are two genders, right? You can be a boy or a girl. So tell me a little bit about the work that you're doing in all 50 states, because you are engaging across the country.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you know, I love my rural folks, and I say this all the time. I'm a rural person. I have my mini hobby farm. And I tell people, listen, you like eggs? I've never got eggs from a rooster, and you darn sure don't get milk from a bull. It's common sense. It
There
really
you
is.
go. I
It's
love it.
common sense. But, I travel around all 50 states and I let parents know that you have rights. It started off with me just being a stay-at-home mom, going to school, working on my bachelor's degree and pursuing my dreams. And then I realized that things were happening in the schools and it was affecting my kids. And I didn't pay attention to politics or policies until it affected my kids. That's when I was like, wait a minute, there's a problem. And I started speaking up. I started asking the right questions. Where is the money going? Why aren't my kids receiving their services? Why aren't my kids safe? As a parent, we really have to be involved in our child's education. Even if it's homeschool, we have to put in the work and the hours and invest in our children.
And that's such an inspiration. And what you're saying is so important. Each and every one of us can really make a difference
Yes.
if we get involved.
Yes.
And this is a conversation that we need to be having with our children. No matter how young our kids are, we need to remind our children that they're loved and that God doesn't make mistakes, and help our children through those difficult times, those growing years. But what we see, what Joe Biden has done and his administration has done, is really attacking children. Let me explain. Title IX, recently he made changes in the definition of sex in Title IX. This is going to destroy women's sports. This is going to keep women less safe.
Scholarships, academic-wise.
Scholarships,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, they're trying to cancel women. You're trying to erase women. And even for myself as a black woman, we don't receive as much support anyway. With our broken homes and our families, the loss of the nuclear family, the absent fathers, women need support. And Joe, the Biden administration is undermining parents. You're calling parents terrorists and putting the DOJ against us and putting us on watch lists and even labeling us as hate groups. Look at me. Do I look like the leader of the Klan? I have been called a white supremacist, a bigot, everything you can imagine because I go against the narrative. Enough is enough.
Now, Tia, you and I were talking earlier about
Yes.
sort of the vibe here in Michigan. I mean, the People's Convention is terrific, but a lot
Yes.
of people that are out on the street protesting don't like that we're here.
No, they don't.
Share a little bit about your personal experience.
So, it's my first time in Detroit, Michigan. First time. And it's really interesting. And I want everyone to listen to this because racism does happen. I'm not denying that. It was Friday evening. Actually, Thursday evening, I went to the Blexit event. Amazing show, by the way, the Liberation Show. So you have to watch it. And I was empowered because I saw other leaders who looked like me, who, they came from the other side and they started being more conservative and understanding that we have a country with issues. So I was walking back to my hotel and this woman sits outside in a minivan and she asked me, did I come from a concert? So I was like, no ma'am, I was at the TPUSA event. And she said, oh, you're the N-word who's trying to be white. And I was like, what? You're the N-word, the full hard R, like, trying to be white. And I paused for a moment because I've never heard that before. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, I live in rural Florida where I have neighbors with the Don't Tread on Me flag, the Rebel flag, the Trump flag, and I've never heard that ever in my life. So I said, ma'am, Jesus loves you, have a blessed day. I'm like, be the bigger person, be the bigger person. I'm still trying to power walk in my heels, in my boots to my hotel. She comes around the block a second time. At that time, she was fair game. But she comes around a second time and she's like, get your own identity, you black bee. And I'm just like,
Wow.
the hatred. And on top of that, she was a black woman. And I'm just like, I can't make this up, guys. I cannot make it up. I should be a comedy writer because the hatred that she had. And I thought that she was gonna circle the block a third time. But when she called me, the black bee, I said, yo mama. And I just kept on walking. I mean, I match energies, because you can only take but so much with a smile. You can only keep on going but so much. But to receive that hatred from my own community, when I'm speaking up for the right thing, when I started this fight for my special needs son that had autism, I was a Democrat, I was liberal. So it's not even about the skin color, it's about the mindset. It's about the ignorance.
Tia, that's so true. And what's shocking is here we have notices to the black community that Florida is a place that's a racist place to be. So clear that up for our listeners.
Let me clear this up. I've been in Florida since the 90s. And the NAACP put out a travel advisory saying that Florida is unsafe for black people and LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, alphabet mafia. That's what they said. That is untrue. I live in Clay Hill, Florida. I'm talking about cow country, goat country, tractor country. I'm the only black person in a 5-mile radius. I have zero problems. I went to the Rock the Country concert with Kid Rock, Travis Tritt, Jason Aldean, 25,000 people in the middle of nowhere in Ocala. The best time I ever had in my life. We sang God Bless America. We listened to some Leonard Skinner, Freebird. You know, we had a great time. Where was the racism at? Because it's all lies and it's all propaganda. That's it.
Well, you know, Tia, it's so good that you're speaking out.
Yes.
It's real ironic that the head of the NAACP lives in Florida.
Right, he lives in Florida. He needs to get a U-Haul too and get out.
That's right. And he's telling the black community, don't come to Florida.
Well, I had my
It's
family.
brainwashing.
I had my family in Philadelphia call me and ask me, "Are you safe in Florida? We just saw the news. We know that you're in a 2-mom household." And I'm like, "I'm safe. I'm at the beach getting my feet wet. You know, bonfires, great time." But they put that fear into the minds of people that whenever you see a Trump flag or a Southern Heritage flag, they automatically think they don't like you. And that's not the truth. You have people. Listen, you got jerks in all types of nationalities, all backgrounds. You got your good apples and your bad apples. But from what I've seen with my own eyes and my own experience, come on down to Florida and get some sunshine.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, this is really great. Now, how do you think Donald Trump has impacted the black community overall? Because in a positive way. Share a little bit about what you're hearing.
Well, it's interesting because my job takes me in all 50 states. I mean, I've been to Wisconsin, I've been in New Jersey, I've been to Atlanta, everywhere. And I just talk to the regular person. I mean, even when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, I saw Trump hats and it said, "I stand with Trump." But listen, it was in a gas station in the hood. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, wait, what? Like, it was deep blue, like Biden country, and I saw "I stand with Trump" hats. Why? Because the black community is tired of scraping and working 2 and 3 jobs just to put food on the table with this economy. Like, why are people who did not build this country jumping in line ahead of us, getting benefits, everything else that they need, when you have people who are working 2 and 3 jobs to do the right thing, and they can't even get a Band-Aid. They cannot get help. They make too much money for this and not enough money for that. There's a bracket in between.
Yeah.
And you just get tired of struggling and not receiving, I'm not saying government assistance, but I'm saying they're taking away the jobs of the Americans who are here. And that's
right.
putting the black community even further behind than they already are.
And that's what Joe Biden's all about, is really prioritizing illegal migrants over U.S. citizens. Additionally, if we just look at the truth and go back into the past, we know that he himself has said many racist things. He was for segregation. And we also need to inform people that it was the Democrat Party that really wanted slavery in America. We have to remember where that came from.
Well,
There's a lot of propaganda. We can't forget.
No. Because they want to erase history. They want to change all the names of the schools. They want to erase history, and it doesn't work like that. We have to learn from our history, because history will repeat itself if we don't.
There you go. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about our children and how parents can be empowered, how they can get involved with Moms for Liberty. And this is for parents and grandparents. But what's happening, folks, is the culture in America has changed so much so that when our children go to the store to pick out a toy, they're finding things that are very inappropriate. Tia, you just had this happen with your own daughter.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's right. I mean, I don't know why everything happens to me. I guess because I'm the mouth of the South, and I'm not afraid to say it. So, my daughter, we wanted to go. It's her first ride to Michigan, her first airplane ride. I said, "Baby, you can pick out any toy that you want." My daughter brings me this toy set right here. It is the Play with the Little Drag Queens. It's the RuPaul Little People from Fisher-Price. I used to watch RuPaul drag show, because if a man can do his makeup that good, I'm like, my God, it looks better than mine. No, he is marketing his toys. Right here. Play with the Drag Queens from ages 1 to 101. You tell me this is not grooming without saying it's grooming. I mean, my daughter was like, "Mommy, can I play with these girls?" Or this one with no hair, and I'm just thinking, baby, she's 6 years old. Now I have to have that talk with my daughter about playing with toys? I mean, shame on you, Fisher-Price.
Shame on you, Fisher-Price. Well, let's hope that Americans don't compromise their values and walk away from these woke organizations and these companies. This is what's great about America. There are enough people out there
Yes.
that I think will be the revolutionaries that will come up with
Yes.
alternative toys, because this is the way the country is going. And Joe Biden, I blame him for dividing this country
Yes.
and using identity politics in all shapes and sizes, really. He's doing it across the
And it's
entire...
really not a jab against the LGBT community. It's not.
That's
because
right.
we've known that that's adult entertainment. What you do as an adult is your personal business. I'm going to say it here. What you do in the sheets doesn't belong in the streets. It's going to be honest. Let kids be kids. Stop coming after our kids. Even with my household, I'm like, yeah, no, we're not playing with this. We're not. You know, I mean, you're an adult.
Yeah.
You're a consenting adult. That's fine. You're a child. This is not acceptable.
Yeah, it's very sad what's
It's
happening.
sad.
So Moms for Liberty offers a tremendous amount of resources,
Yes.
information, and teaches people how to get involved, how to step up, participate on your school
Yes.
board. Where can people find more information on Moms for Liberty?
So you can go to www.momsforliberty.org. We have a map where you can go find your chapter. If you're not on the map, what you can do is contact us and we can help you start a chapter, because all parents need to have their voices heard. You can also text 53445, text the word Liberty to 53445, and that's to our newsletter. I mean, I just left North Carolina with Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, and I was already speaking there. And I mean, there's bills on the floor right now where you have to ask your child for permission for their medical record. If your 9-year-old says, Mom, I don't want you to have access to my record, you can't have it, then that's it, you have to respect it. But if you're under 18 and you're in my house, I'm responsible for you, I pay the bills.
That's
I mean,
right.
I don't co-parent with the government. How can you tell me what my child needs and I know best?
That's right. Well, thank you so much. Such an important message. Moms for Liberty, one of my favorite organizations.
Thank you.
Tia Best, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
You're an amazing gal. Thank you again for being here.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back with some more interviews. Don't go anywhere.
Thank-
Tia, thank you. This is super.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big 3. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. Secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. They're trying to indoctrinate and corrupt our children in schools. They've defied the authority of the Supreme Court. They've weakened our economy with lockdowns and mandates. They've failed to keep our borders secure. They've weakened America's position on the global stage. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left, and there's an easy way for you to stand with them. Join AMAC. AMAC is the conservative membership organization that's helping to make America great again. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, many of you remember me as Hercules, facing incredible odds for the world that he cherished. But today, I'm stepping into a different role, not as a mythical hero, but as a fellow American. I'm inviting you to embark on a mission crucial to our nation's future. At this pivotal moment, America stands at a crossroads. Our unity, values, and vision for tomorrow are being tested. It might seem like the weight of the world is too heavy for one person to lift, but history shows us that it's the courage of individuals that has always illuminated the path forward. The call for heroes is more urgent than ever. Not the mythical ones, but real-life individuals like you, ready to uphold what's right, champion truth, and unite in protecting our beloved nation. You see the need for change and want to make a meaningful impact, but the opposition can feel overwhelming, leaving you wondering if one person's actions can truly make a difference. That's where AMAC steps in. We are a beacon for Americans who believe in unity, truth, and the relentless pursuit of our nation's founding principles. When you join AMAC today, you'll connect with a community of like-minded individuals. You'll have access to resources and information to empower your advocacy and amplify your voice on issues critical to our nation's future. This is your moment. It's a call to rise and embody the heroism our times demand. Join AMAC today. And together, let's forge a future that celebrates the best of what we are as Americans. Your journey as a modern-day hero starts right now. Stand with AMAC and let's show the world the power of true heroism in action. Be the hero our country needs.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort
it, guys. If you are the younger generation, the future of our country is on your shoulders. Now, everybody has a part to play in that. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can still impact that. But the next generation is the one that's ready to lead this country in the days and weeks, months, and years to come. So, if you want to be a part of succeeding this country, you got to get involved. That is my opinion. Jack Mahoney. Awesome, man. Stay tuned. We've got lots more out here.
Gorgeous. Come around this way. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Weber. You're watching Better for America. We're live at the People's Convention, and I'm thrilled to be joined now by Donna Brandenburg. She's got her own news network, Brandenburg News Network.
Yes.
Donna, thank you for sitting down with me.
Oh, thank you. This is such an exciting, and TPA has done such a good job with this event. I mean, it's really well organized, and everybody here is so wonderfully authentic. You know, you go to a lot of events, and sometimes people aren't so authentic, and they're running for their own gain. And what I found here is people are here really wanting to help this nation. So it's just a pleasure. I know a little bit about your organization, and what a great opportunity for people to learn about what you're doing here.
Oh, thank you, Donna. Yeah, I agree with you. The Turning Point Convention here, the People's Convention, has attracted all kinds of people,
Yes.
lots of young people, older people, and everywhere in between. And that to me is so key, especially this year, this election cycle, is that conservatives come together and unite. We have a very divided country. And I fear, I just had another guest on earlier who was talking about how divisive the Biden administration has been, especially targeting minority groups. And we see here people of all backgrounds that are coming together and saying, we're waking up. Are you seeing the same thing as you interview so many people? Are you seeing that there's something new afoot happening? It is a movement, and it's growing.
Yes, and people are throwing off this narrative, this fake narrative that's been fed to us for years, through the school systems, through the media, the fake news, and we're all thankful to the rightful president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, for calling it out for what it was. It's fake news and fake programming and teaching people to hate each other on these constructs that they've created to put out their perceived differences. And in differences, perceived differences that don't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're a human being, you are created as a child of God. That makes us one people, and we should be acting like family, and the way families should act. And first and foremost, be concerned about people and humanity, and then the rules of law. The rule of law, to make sure that just even in a family, there's certain rules that you have to have in order to keep peace. And the goal is to live peacefully with our neighbors.
Well, that's exactly right. And what you said there, it's such basic common sense, but we have an administration and the deep state, we've got mainstream media that really want to move away from traditional American values. There's nothing wrong with saying the family unit is so important that our children don't belong to the government. The family is an incubator for freedom, and so here at AMAC, we are in full support of families. I want to wish everybody listening happy Father's Day to the men out there.
Happy
Our
Father's
fathers are so important, so I don't want to forget them. Donna, tell us a little bit about your history. You have an amazing story. And it led you to create your own network, your own news network, which is so important because people aren't hearing the truth when they turn on mainstream. So we need more and more people speaking out. But take me back a little bit. A little bit of your history here in Michigan.
Okay, well, I'm a business owner. I grew up as a very, very poor kid, and I didn't want to be that way. So I went to college. I put myself through college and such, and which, good or bad or otherwise, you come out smarter either by what they fail at or what they do right. And I started building businesses. And so I have quite a few businesses that I've built over the years. I've had some degree of success. And never been in politics, hated everyone in politics because I figured they were all liars and cheats and thieves, and they are. So I got asked to run for governor, and the entity that asked me I really have a lot of respect for, and I'm like, why do you guys want me? This is nuts. Anything that needs to be said, I'm gonna say it. And nobody's gonna tell me what to say, because I think that people need to be authentic and not get out there and be told what to say and be programmed with the right answers to play to an audience. We need to have honest and fair discussion. So ran for governor, and I approached it as a business owner, looking at how the government should run, not the way it is being run. Didn't take any dark money, didn't take any PAC money, because I believe that should be illegal. And it's a really bad idea, and it's devolved into buying our elections and paying for votes. And so it's wrong right from the beginning on a moral issue of having every single person in America having an equal vote, equal chance to run, equal chance to get the candidate in that they want. You can't do that when the big dollars are involved. So I ran for governor. I got kicked off the ballot illegally 2 times. The first time was through the signature fraud that was going on here in Michigan. And quite honestly, when people find out where this leads to, it's going to be very shocking. I'm working with the Attorney General's office right now. We have 3 people with 27 felony counts against them. 3 days ago, the case got bound over to circuit court. The judge was on record for over an hour talking about it, and said that this was the biggest and most important case he has ever seen. And so as we are, but you won't hear that on fake stream media because they're not going to put that out there. So anyhow, the second time I got kicked off the ballot, it was a 14-year felony was committed in the process. So after I got kicked off the Republican ticket, which I had been asked before to run on the Constitution Party also, I went to the Constitution Party and I said, well, if you guys want me, I said, I told my voters I'd be on the ballot, and they said yes. So I won the nomination, got kicked off that one because somebody committed a 14-year felony to make sure that it hasn't been prosecuted yet, but that's sitting out there like a bad dream waiting to jump out of the shadows at somebody. So they committed some bad things and got kicked off that one. They reconvened another convention. I got renominated, and so I was on the ballot in 2022. And I've just decided that I am absolutely not going to concede that election until we fix the 2022 and the 2020 election for the rightful president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. He was deprived his office. Every single American was deprived their voice and their vote. That's the bigger crime right there. This was an attack against we the people. Every single American was attacked in that election. And so I'm not going to concede that. So anyhow, got kicked off of all social media because I will tell the truth no matter how painful it is. And so one of the companies I own is a little tech company, so I said, I guess we're going to have to replace them, guys. So we developed Brandenburg News Network, and I'm on every weekday for at least 2 hours between 9 and 11. Sometimes I snap the cameras on at other times. We own the whole system, and I do not censor. You will hear anything and everything come out of people's mouths because it's authentic. I never know what I'm going to talk about when I get on every day. I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel, and whichever way you want this to go. And so that's how that got started.
Wow, just terrific. And so now you mentioned a couple very important things, and that is the people of America were deprived of their vote.
Yes.
We have got to make sure that this election cycle, every legal vote counts. How confident are you, especially in these swing states, these blue states, that we're going to see free and fair elections this November?
I am absolutely confident that with the current system we have right now, there's no way we can accomplish that. As long as the machines are in place and we have any electronic means, I own a little tech company, I've done a lot of work going into it. Right now, Microsoft has got every single device that's connected to the internet. It's in the operating system. They can get into your devices, they can back out of them, they can change things, they can plant evidence, they can manipulate your history by deleting as well as adding to things. This is involved in our voting machines right now. Until we get all means of electronic voting, we do away with that, and we have paper ballots, one-day voting. There's got to be no involvement electronically because right now they cannot ensure that we will have a free election.
Yeah.
So I don't think but it doesn't absolve people from doing their jobs. I interviewed between a third and a half of the sheriffs in the state of Michigan, and I asked them all the question. I'm like, why didn't you arrest Whitmer? And their answers were pathetic. They really were. They were like, well, who's going to prosecute it? And I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's not your job or your concern. Your job is to get in there and bring evidence and arrest her. And then if the prosecutor doesn't do their job, you roll down as a CEO, you're going to roll right downhill until you remove every single one of them that have broken the law. And so if the prosecutor doesn't do his job, press charges and have him removed. But it comes down to every single individual has to do what they're supposed to do.
And this is why we need people to come out in numbers.
Every single
we
person
need
has to vote.
everybody. If you're thinking, I might sit this one out, there's no chance. We need you because we've got a president right now, Joe Biden, who's got a wide open border with the full intention of trying to get more people to vote Democrat. And that is why he's got a wide open border. This is done with great intent. He's trying to loosen the laws. By executive order, he said every illegal needs to have information on how to register to vote. We've got over 16 states, many states that do not require any proof of identification, and many others, dozens of others, some 24 states that don't look to see if you are a U.S. citizen, including my own home state of New York. So we need everyone to come out this election. We need people to show up, tell your friends and family. And this is, it's crazy, Donna. When you think about it, you can't go buy a bottle of wine without proof of identification, right? You can't drive a car without a driver's license. I mean, this is crazy that we can't get this right here in America, that we can't have free and fair elections and make it simple. We don't want universal mail-in ballots.
Right.
The left wants that because they want to make sure that they can steal the election, rig the election, and that's what's happening here.
I
So-
want to clarify when I said that there isn't an honest part of it, but the point is that there's a lot of surveillance going on now because we know what to look for by
know
the
what to
failing
look for.
of the 2020 election. So
Yeah.
when we look at the vote going forward, every single person out there has got to vote, and you've got to, like you said, bring friends, because we can even overwhelm their cheating, and by the surveillance we have, those that are cheating, they're going to get caught. And because we know what to look for. So they're going to know whether you voted or not. They're going to know whether somebody didn't vote or they rigged the vote. And so this is all going to be watched very closely. I'm fairly confident of that. And so the outcome of this is going to determine, I believe, the future of a lot of individuals who have cheated. Let's just call it the greatest sting in the history of the United States. And so the warning is out there right now for all the people that cheated. You got a running start to try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
If you don't do the right thing, pretty extra sure, your future is probably going to be a little bit in peril, because we've got some very good people working behind the scenes, making sure that this nation, as President Trump, the rightful president of the United States, said, we're here to give this government back to we the people. Now, it may be a little bumpy, but I believe he's always come through on what he said. He is the greatest president in the history of the United States, bar none. If you look at the actual facts, not
Sure,
what's
his record is clear,
it's
and we can look at the
impeccable.
two men, we can see what Biden's done, we can see what Trump did when he was in office, and I think many people see that life was a lot better before Joe Biden took office.
Absolutely.
Donna, it was so great to have you here with me, and to everyone out there listening, you can help secure the election by joining AMAC and getting involved in our fight. We've got our members stepping up as poll watchers, election workers, so much information. Check out amacaction.org. Get involved in the fight. Donna Brandenburg, check out her news network. Terrific to have you. Thank you again for being with me today.
Thank you.
Look forward to talking more. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First. We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. The very freedoms secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. They're trying to indoctrinate and corrupt our children in schools. They've defied the authority of the Supreme Court. They've weakened our economy with lockdowns and mandates. They've failed to keep our borders secure. They've weakened America's position on the global stage. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left, and there's an easy way for you to stand with them. Join AMAC. AMAC is the conservative membership organization that's helping to make America great again. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, many of you remember me as Hercules, facing incredible odds for the world that he cherished. Well, today, I'm stepping into a different role. Not as a mythical hero, but as a fellow American. I'm inviting you to embark on a mission crucial to our nation's future. At this pivotal moment, America stands at a crossroads. Our unity, values, and vision for tomorrow are being tested. It might seem like the weight of the world is too heavy for one person to lift, but history shows us that it's the courage of individuals that has always illuminated the path forward. The call for heroes is more urgent than ever. Not the mythical ones, but real-life individuals like you, ready to uphold what's right, champion truth, and unite in protecting our beloved nation. You see the need for change and want to make a meaningful impact, but the opposition can feel overwhelming, leaving you wondering if one person's actions can truly make a difference. That's where AMAC steps in. We are a beacon for Americans who believe in unity, truth, and the relentless pursuit of our nation's founding principles. When you join AMAC today, you'll connect with a community of like-minded individuals. You'll have access to resources and information to empower your advocacy and amplify your voice on issues critical to our nation's future. This is your moment. It's a call to rise and embody the heroism our times demand. Join AMAC today. And together, let's forge a future that celebrates the best of what we are as Americans. Your journey as a modern-day hero starts right now. Stand with AMAC and let's show the world the power of true heroism in action. Be the hero our country needs.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide.
Hello, everyone. We're back live at the People's Convention. Happy Father's Day to all the great dads out there. I'm thrilled to be joined right now by Myra Rodriguez. She is a state director with Moms for America. Myra, thank you for being with me.
Thank you so much for having us, having this space for moms to speak our voices. It's so important right now.
It really is. You know, one of the issues that has been really, a lot of people are talking about here at the People's Convention is the fact that we need to protect our children. Joe Biden and the federal government don't own our children, and they can't co-parent along with us. Here at the People's Convention, people are making that loud and clear. It's time that moms and dads across America stand up, step up, and speak out. We've got to do something about what's happening at our schools. Tell us a little bit about Moms for America. It's a great organization. You've been around for quite a while.
Yes, we have been. I recently joined them. And why did I join them? Well, because I needed my voice to go somewhere to help undo the damage that I have done, right? You recall some of my stories that I worked for Planned Parenthood for 17 years. I indoctrinated children. I'm not proud to say it, but this is why now I go around telling moms, empowering moms, which is what Moms for America does, right? We empower moms. We tell them we are here. They're your children. It's your constitutional right to protect your whatever you want to teach your children, your religion, your education, and the government does not own your children. That's basically what we do.
That is terrific, and I do want to talk a little bit about your story because it is a remarkable story.
Thank you.
It's a story of hope, and it's something that I think our listeners are going to love to hear. Now, for many, many years, you voted Democrat your entire adulthood, essentially. You also supported Planned Parenthood. In 2016, you supported Hillary Clinton. Tell us what changed. Tell us about your story. It's really remarkable.
Well, for 16 years, I dedicated my life working as Planned Parenthood director of many of their locations in the state of Arizona, promoting this ideology, promoting birth control, STDs, all this contraceptive world, preventive side. Planned Parenthood romanticized saying that's what they do, right? Educate the community. And everybody's like, well, that's nothing wrong with that, right? So after being the Employee of the Year award and being so dedicated and abiding by mission and vision of this organization, I take over the abortion facility. And boy, did I open my eyes. It's when I saw the reality of abortion. And I don't mean like in a magical, spiritual way. What I mean is I saw the corruption behind abortion. I saw the pain of women. I saw women getting hurt daily, like perforated daily. I saw what abortion really was doing to women and the babies and the unborn. So I spoke against the abortionists of all the wrongdoings, the falsifying patient charts, the not naming all his wrongdoings on the charts or even reporting them, right? So all these complications go unreported, right? And I spoke against him, and obviously my employer didn't like me for that and fired me. And I started the only wrongful termination lawsuit against them ever make it to trial and actually winning in 2019.
Congratulations, Myra. So you saw the corruption at Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
You saw how the, this message with, pink bows and, my choice is a destructive message to women, disregards life entirely. But even worse, Planned Parenthood was committing, I call them crimes, because when you don't disclose the truth and you lie on medical forms, that to me is a criminal act. So thank you for speaking up, stepping up. And I think it's just a wonderful thing that you somehow came around and said, wait a minute here, the lies that I've been told and fed all of these years are not, they're lies. And you
Correct.
saw the truth.
Correct.
So now, you're a Latina woman, and you, I know, did a lot of work in that space, trying to get your community to buy into what you thought was a good message from the left. Tell us where the Latino community stands today, and do you think that more and more people, are waking up and seeing that maybe life was a lot better before Joe Biden took office?
Definitely. I don't know anyone who had a better life, now that they did before Joe Biden took office. So for the Hispanic community, something magically, I'm going to say magically, it's happening. For the first time, we can see that the Latino community is waking up. The immigrant community in general, I'm not only referring now to Latinos, right, but many other immigrants, they're understanding that the Democrat Party has literally gave us Kool-Aid for many years, making false promises to the immigrant community, right? An immigration reform that will never arrive, right? They always promise that on their campaign year, and then by the time the campaign's over, it never comes, right? They just want the votes of the people who support the immigrants. But now that's not working anymore for them. Why? Because they understand that you're making that promise, but at the same time, you're promising to take away my children from me. And that, it's a very touchy subject to the immigrant community. Don't mess with our children, which is to most parents, as you have said, here at the convention, we noticed that that's where most people are back off from my children. So the Latino community, that's where you will get them ticked off. Touch their money, touch their children, you're done. So that's one thing we have in our side. And I say in our side because, as you mentioned, now I'm on this side, fully and committed to the conservative side. Why? Because we understand this is the side that it's actually for freedom, right? And we all immigrated from another country for freedom.
That's exactly right. And we hear Joe Biden making false promises. Like you said, it's Kool-Aid. It's propaganda. They are lies. Joe Biden is really only about keeping the power that he currently has, and the Democrats want to keep the power, not for the American people. I am so grateful for you that you are championing, the conservative values that make this country so great. Myra, tell us a little bit about Moms for America and how people can get involved. What is the mission there? And some resources so other moms that are concerned about what's happening in their community can step up and speak and take part.
Yeah, I mean, they can join us at momsforamerica.org, and then we basically create get-togethers, right? Like, we want them to get together. We want them to get at home, talk to their children. I have some moms going into the libraries now and doing reading story. We have many books. We have resources there for actually teaching moms how to teach our constitutional rights, right? As an immigrant who had to become citizen in this country, I had to learn my constitution to pass that civic test, right? So teaching the children what our constitution really means as being Americans, right? What we stand for, what our values, what this country was founded for, right? It's very important, and that's what Moms for America does. On top of empowering people to be part of their school boards, to be part of their government, right? Yes, you're fed up with what's happening in your school, don't stay there. Let's get up, let's do something about it.
That's terrific. To all of you listening out there, check out Moms for America. It's a terrific organization. We thank you so much for the great work that you're doing, empowering all Americans. Myra Rodriguez, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
God bless you.
Appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the rest of the convention.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back in just a moment with some more great interviews, so don't go anywhere.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, You've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. The very freedoms secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. They're trying to indoctrinate and corrupt our children in schools. They've defied the authority of the Supreme Court. They've weakened our economy with lockdowns and mandates. They've failed to keep our borders secure. They've weakened America's position on the global stage. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left, and there's an easy way for you to stand with them. Join AMAC. AMAC is the conservative membership organization that's helping to make America great again. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, many of you remember me as Hercules, facing incredible odds for the world that he cherished. But today, I'm stepping into a different role. Not as a mythical hero, but as a fellow American. I'm inviting you to embark on a mission crucial to our nation's future. At this pivotal moment, America stands at a crossroads. Our unity, values, and vision for tomorrow are being tested. It might seem like the weight of the world is too heavy for one person to lift, but history shows us that it's the courage of individuals that has always illuminated the path forward. The call for heroes is more urgent than ever. Not the mythical ones, but real-life individuals like you, ready to uphold what's right, champion truth, and unite in protecting our beloved nation. You see the need for change and want to make a meaningful impact, but the opposition can feel overwhelming, leaving you wondering if one person's actions can truly make a difference. That's where AMAC steps in. We are a beacon for Americans who believe in unity, truth, and the relentless pursuit of our nation's founding principles. When you join AMAC today, you'll connect with a community of like-minded individuals. You'll have access to resources and information to empower your advocacy and amplify your voice on issues critical to our nation's future. This is your moment. It's a call to rise.
Hello, America. Welcome back. I am so thrilled to be joined right now by Emma Sarah McMillian.
Yes.
And you are the founder of Ignite Voice, which is a terrific platform. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Ignite Voice, and you are the founder.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of history.
Okay, so Ignite Voices is a TV show, and it's actually a second show that we have. My family is a media company, Psalm 78 Studios, where we produce content to shift the culture. And so this show is different than other shows because it's not only political and issue-based, but my kids are my co-hosts.
Wow.
And it's with a purpose, because I really believe that, you know, the left and liberals have worked very hard to fragment families, and families are the cornerstone of society. And if you can break apart the family, you can break apart society. So what better than to build up, you know, not just kids who know about politics, but to do talk politics together. So
This is terrific. I just love what you've done. And Emma, you are a mother to 8 beautiful children,
Thank
8
you.
kids. Wow, all of them involved in participating
Yes.
with Ignite Voice.
Voices,
How can
yeah.
people tune in, and where can they find your show?
So ignitevoices.com is where they can find us online. We're on Faith Channel, Vision TV. Actually, we're coming to Faith Channel, and we're on Vision TV Network. And then, of course, they can find us on YouTube and IG and all the social media platforms. So we're a new TV show on this, for Mother of Change, that's 39 episodes, but Ignite Voices TV, we're brand new, but we have some all-star guests on there. And we've had, you know, the former ICE administrator for 6 presidents. We have had they're part of Border 911 Border 911. We have had Congress people, Secretary of State, youngest Secretary of State, Valentina Gomez is running. So we
Sure.
have all these all-stars on there, but it's so exciting to have my kids join me and not only doing these interviews, but what I think is really important is that kids are dumbed down. They're always, playing video games. People don't expect much of our generation, but there are some that are hungry and they're looking for a purpose, and why not give them the purpose to, stand up for freedom, to stand up for our nation, and to actually love our nation.
I love what you're doing. This is just terrific. And here at the Turning Point Convention, we see so many young people. We see people of all ages, older people. We've got lots of AMAC members that are here. And this is what's happening is America needs to come together and
Yes.
we need to unite. And I'm going to continue to say that. The conservative movement is uniting people. Nobody really wants wide open borders, unsafe neighborhoods.
That's right.
People are sick and tired of being told that if you love this country that there's something wrong with you. And people are waking up.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the issues that you think are going to drive the younger people to the polls this November.
Well, I'll tell you, our freedom of speech is important,
Yeah.
but this is, it's really, ridiculous that the left would say they want free speech, but then when you try to say that you love your nation, they want to shut you up, they want to cancel you. If you say something like, Jesus is king, or you say something about your faith that is not in agreement with their faith, they want to shut you down. And so I think if we give the young people the alternative, which is truth, okay, and loving truth for what it is, which is not, and they actually have the right to say what they're saying. So we are not saying you shouldn't say that in a broad sense. We're not trying to shut them down. You can say you don't like the nation. We're saying it's dumb, but we're not going to counsel them. And so that's the difference, is that when you get into this realm of understanding about free speech, you can respect when somebody doesn't agree with you. We may not like it, which I don't, okay, but I don't think they should be counseled for saying they don't like the nation. I just think it's dumb. But that's different than saying you should be shut down. And I think that as we start to educate young people about, what's the real education is, that's not true freedom when they're trying to shut you up, when they're trying to say you have to stay in your home and you can't go to work, and there's things that you can't do. It's limitations, and young people don't like limitations. So I think if we go after the fact that you are actually being limited every single day, the more you fall for the lie, the more you're limited. I think young people don't want to be limited, so we need to go after the fact that they're not.
Yes, and remember that government is put in place to protect we the people and to help us build a defense and keep Americans safe. But government doesn't own our children. They shouldn't
No.
be co-parenting with
Not at
us.
all.
And Joe Biden has really divided this country by calling everyone who doesn't agree that government should expand and get bigger and bigger. He's calling us lunatics. And I think people are waking up and saying, no. I have a right to think on my own,
That's right.
to say what's on my mind. And we saw what happened. I mean, so many conservatives have been targeted and continue to be
Yeah.
targeted here in America. People are afraid to speak out. So the whole idea that you're bringing your voice to America, and you're doing that with your family, which is so important. I've always said this, that family is the incubator of freedom. It
Yes.
starts at home at the
Cornerstone.
kitchen table. We got to love on our children. So before we let you run, Emma, tell me a little bit about what advice might you give to other moms and dads that are looking to engage their children and really inform and educate their children. How did you go about doing that?
Well, first of all, what I want to encourage parents to do is go away from the normal realm that society is, or I would say the school system specifically, especially the public school system, that they know what's best for your kids. Okay, so I think people are understanding that more. So in order to form the strong relationship with your kids, you don't send them somewhere all day long and then just come home and then be busy
Expect
with work.
that they're not impacted.
Yeah, and then they're on video games and they're not being integrated with their own family. So they're being integrated with all these false narratives, but parents aren't taking time to get to know their kids and to talk to their kids. And one of the greatest gifts we can do as a parent is teach our kids to challenge what they believe. And so we're a family of faith, but I always tell my kids, you don't follow what I say just because I say it. I want you to understand why you're doing what you're doing and why do you believe what you believe. And sometimes if I say something, they challenge it, and I allow them to challenge even what I think. Because if I'm just sitting there pushing my faith, pushing even politics on them, and they just are rambling parrots, then we're not doing society any good. And the public school is creating parents. We need to raise people who are our children, who are critical thinkers. And so the greatest gift as a parent we can give our kid is to be a critical thinker. But if you don't mind, Rebecca,
Yes.
is if I just, put an extension out to because we are dealing with people, I'm 50, and so I was reading, a magazine for older people, which I'm 50, but, age is just
I'm
a
right
number.
there with you, girl.
And so I
It's
feel
just a
young.
number.
I feel vibrant, as many of you do feel vibrant. But what I want to encourage is I was reading the voter slant, and really, in that age range of 50 to 65, which is our, what the audience that we're talking to today, is that you really have the ability to swing the vote. And how you can do that is by sewing into not just our, what we're doing. It's a new TV show. We're looking for funding, but other organizations that are putting forward critical thinking youth who are going to change the nation. So the greatest investment they can make as they're in their golden years is to invest in the young people who are going to bring back this nation.
What a wonderful message. Thank you so much. I want everyone to check out Emma Sarah McMillion's incredible show, Ignite Voice. Thank you so much for being with me today, and
Thank
enjoy
you.
the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
All righty. We'll be back in just a moment with more great interviews coming right up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. The very freedoms secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. They're trying to indoctrinate and corrupt our children in schools. They've defied the authority of the Supreme Court. They've weakened our economy with lockdowns and mandates. They've failed to keep our borders secure. They've weakened America's position on the global stage. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left, and there's an easy way for you to stand with them. Join AMAC. AMAC is the conservative membership organization that's helping to make America great again. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, many of you remember me as Hercules, facing incredible odds for the world that he cherished. But today, I'm stepping into a different role. Not as a mythical hero, but as a fellow American. I'm inviting you to embark on a mission crucial to our nation's future. At this pivotal moment, America stands at a crossroads. Our unity, values, and vision for tomorrow are being tested. It might seem like the weight of the world is too heavy for one person to lift, but history shows us that it's the courage of individuals that has always illuminated the path forward. The call for heroes is more urgent than ever. Not the mythical ones, but real-life individuals like you, ready to uphold what's right, champion truth, and unite in protecting our beloved nation. You see the need for change and want to make a meaningful impact, but the opposition can feel overwhelming, leaving you wondering if one person's actions can truly make a difference. That's where AMAC steps in. We are a beacon for Americans who believe in unity, truth, and the relentless pursuit of our nation's founding principles. When you join AMAC today, you'll connect with a community of like-minded individuals.
Welcome back to the People's Convention. I'm here with Libby Emmons, Editor-in-Chief of the Post Millennial and Human Events. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So last night, pretty crazy speech by Donald Trump. What are your takeaways this morning after what you saw yesterday?
I think that he's got a lot of the people's support, and I think that he continues to gain more support. The things that I found really interesting were, one, that he really leaned into the mission of the People's Convention, which is make a plan to vote, get out there, get your people out there, go rouse your family, encourage everyone to vote, because it doesn't matter how much support you have, emotionally, you need that material support in order to win the election.
Hopes and dreams don't
exactly
get electoral votes, right? So I wanted to also ask you about a story that you posted the other day. We've got 3 teens, and I believe it was Spokane, Washington, rented some Lime scooters, left some skid marks on a crosswalk, and now they're facing felony charges. Explain to us what's happening in this case.
So this is something that I bet a lot of your viewers have seen. Communities will paint pride flags in the middle of the street on crosswalks, and then whenever anybody steps on them, they freak out, and it's like, well,
it is a crosswalk.
It's a crosswalk. You literally put your altar in the middle of the street and got mad when people stepped on it. That's an insane move. So these teens are facing felony charges for leaving skid marks on it. In Huntington, West Virginia, the police are diligently looking for the driver of a truck that did burnouts on a crosswalk.
Wow.
We saw it in Delray Beach. And what's interesting about the Spokane one is in March, someone tried to set fire to the crosswalk. Then you had these kids leave skid marks on the crosswalk, and then and the city keeps repairing it, right? And then after the skid marks incident, someone else came by and splashed a bunch of paint on it. Right. So it does seem like the consensus to have LGBTQ allegiance emblazoned on the street is not shared by everyone in the community, but cities don't seem to care. They really want to enforce this on everybody. And the thing about painting your sacred symbols in the street.
You just said an altar.
And then
I never thought of that.
That people step on it. That's just so insane. And when you see a lot of the reporting about this from mainstream media outlets, they call it a mural. And a mural is literally that's on a wall. If someone comes by and defaces a mural, that's an intentional destruction of separate, art property, whether it's propaganda or art or whether you like it or not. But a crosswalk, it's in the street. We're going to drive over it.
The point
There's
is
going to be an oil spill on it. The point is to drive on it, to step on it. So maybe it's like they just don't want us leaving our homes. I don't know.
Meanwhile, at the same time, we see defacing of public statues.
Right.
We see actual demonstrations of people walking on flags, burning American flags. Nothing, not a peep.
And what if we put an American flag in a crosswalk.
Yeah.
And then got mad when people drove over it.
Yeah.
Leftists would be like, you're dumb. You put the flag in the crosswalk. Of course we're going to step on it.
Yeah.
And you did see in Lafayette Square, there's all these, anti-Israel, pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas craziness going on.
Yeah.
And they go in there and they cover the statues of our founding fathers with graffiti.
Yeah.
And that's supposedly a First Amendment thing. In Lafayette Square in D.C., I think it was last weekend, you saw these protesters going nuts, throwing stuff at national parks, officials and officers and things like that. And nothing happened. There were no arrests.
I thought it was a felony to attack a federal employee.
There were no arrests.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, this is what we learned on January 7th, 2021. That this is, the day after. That's what we learned. This is very serious crime, criminal trespassing,
Yeah.
misdemeanor charges with years of jail time. But yeah, for some reason it's totally okay, and it's a First Amendment thing when leftist protesters do it. And don't forget the over 120 days of literal rioting in Portland in the summer of 2020 when Antifa tried to burn down a federal courthouse every night.
Every night.
And
nothing happened there. That case in particular reminds me of the Douglas Mackey case, in which, I think he faced like 6 months in
I think it was
jail.
7, but
7 months
something
in
like
jail
that, yeah.
over a meme.
Yeah.
And,
it was a joke.
Over a joke.
Mm-hmm.
They had said, well, he coordinated in direct messages or things like that, but at the end of the day, it was a joke.
He came up with a joke with his friends. Lots of people come up with jokes with their friends. I just watched a thing with Kevin Hart last night where he talked about how he and Chris Rock work on jokes together.
Yeah.
As though this is like some sort of felony.
Yeah. Conspiring to commit a crime.
Conspiring to come up with funny jokes to post on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw similar cases on the other side, I think to this day are still up.
It's
right?
still up, yeah. I think there was a woman, Christina Wong, I believe, and she posted a video of herself instructing Trump voters to vote on the wrong day.
Right.
And that was not prosecuted.
Yeah.
And every time we covered this at the Post Millennial, we would bring up the fact that this other meme went up, that this video is still there, that there was no prosecution. And it does seem insane to me that a man could be federally prosecuted for a joke. Not only a joke, but an amusing joke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Christina Wong wasn't, and hers was kind of funny too. So I don't understand. Like, this is the kind of joke warfare that we see in elections, and that we see, this election season too. There were like so many memesters out there, like posting things in 2016. It was a big part of the grassroots support for Trump and for the MAGA movement.
In 2016, they really realized the power of the culture, the power of the meme, the irony of meme warfare. It's a real thing, manifesting the change in culture.
Yeah.
Because what is humor? What is a meme? It's cutting to the truth.
And when conservatives use culture to get
their
their point
advantage,
across,
good.
that's a felony.
That's a felony.
Right.
So speaking on that, when it comes to the internet, we have the Stanford Internet Research Agency.
Mm-hmm. The observatory,
The observatory has come out and said that they're shutting down operations, but at the same time, what are we starting to see? We're starting to see some other organizations, some other groups come in possibly to take their place. Have you seen that story? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I do think that it's probably a good thing that group, the election misinfo group, shut down. They were lying. That was exposed by Matt Taibbi in the Twitter files.
Yeah,
that
on
they
both
really,
COVID and the election.
On COVID and the election, yeah, that they really had a big impact in censoring and suppressing Americans' free speech online. So it's good that they're getting out of the way. But just like with everything else, the language is going to change. They're going to call it something else and reform in another way. We're seeing that with the, resurgence of the resistance in 2024 in the lead up to that election. People are already preparing to undermine MAGA policies in the event that Trump wins the election.
A resistance to protect democracy itself, as they say.
Yeah, just
the irony.
Just like the cabals that they put together in 2020 and then bragged about it in a Time magazine article. They were like, we all got together and conspired to make sure that Trump lost this election
to protect
by
us.
Hook or by crook, to protect Americans.
Yeah, it's wild that people don't see at face value, the misinformation, disinformation. I mean, the wrong think it's so plain to see what's happening. You wonder at some point if the clown show will come to an end. What's going to happen there?
I don't know what's going to happen. It's a very interesting time to be alive. That's for sure.
So what do you see in the next leading up to the election? In closing, before we let you go, what are you focused on over the next 3 months? How do you think this plays out before the election? What are some big stories?
I think
you might be looking for?
anything is possible leading
Yeah.
up to this election right now. We have Joe Biden, who is being made fun of by world leaders for being essentially a sunsetting old man who,
Yeah.
can't figure out what's going on. That's really scary as an American to see this going on with your, with your president.
Yeah. And
As
where's
an
his
American,
family on
I
that? I mean-
support whoever our president is because I support the nation and I want us to do well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's very scary to see this happening with President Biden right now, and I think that the pushback against it from Democrats is also scary because they're perfectly happy to just cover it up to protect their own reins on power. We have Trump being sentenced in a New York courtroom on July 11th. Anything could happen there. We saw Steve Bannon saying yesterday here at the convention that he thinks that they are going to put Trump in jail. I have a lot of people telling me, no, they're going to do house arrest, they're going to do nothing, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. And then we have the RNC. What does a Republican National Convention look like if, for example, he's not going to be there? That would be really wild as well.
Yeah.
And you have Americans really dug in on both sides here. I don't know if there's that many voters who are undecided. That's what I think is so interesting about this conference is it's really saying, you have friends and family who support Trump, just make sure they vote.
Yeah.
If they all vote, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then that's what the problem is. We're really at such a crux in this country of these two diametrically opposed sides. One thing that happens a lot is Democrats will come out with this thing saying, expose. Trump says he's going to do mass deportations. And then
Right.
you have conservatives going like, I'm already voting for him. You don't have to sell me on it.
Yeah.
It's like total
It's
opposite.
like that Michael Moore piece that was completely reversed a few years ago.
Yeah.
A Molotov cocktail into the system, thinking that was going to somehow make him look bad. But people just embrace that ideology very, very quickly.
Yeah, and you had Molotov cocktails being thrown at protests in New York and other
Yeah.
places. But I think immigration is a huge issue. I think the economy is a huge issue. Obviously the border closure, if we can get that across, that's a huge issue. And a big thing, I think, is the way that language is used to obfuscate what people really believe and what's really going on. A good example is like gender affirming care. Well, that means sex changes for kids.
Right.
When you say to your mom, who's a big lefty like mine, that means sex changes for kids. She's like, what, really?
Yeah.
Are you that's not
I
what that
wouldn't let
means?
them get a tattoo, but I'm going to give them mind-altering chemical
Right.
drugs.
Well, that was Jazz Jennings'
Irreversible.
dad.
Yeah.
He didn't want his son to get the tattoo, but he was fully okay with the castration.
And not
Like,
to go off
what's
on
up with that?
tangential there, but what kind of culture do we live in where now that's a broadcast television show
That's very
of
scary.
this child's life?
I think there's a lot of concern for, young Jennings as
yeah.
Jazz grows up in this culture and facing the serious challenges
Yeah.
and detriment to his endocrine system. That's just a really scary situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything's possible in the next couple months.
And as a father with young children, I do see this next few years as sort of a pivotal turning point in how it's going to be moving forward. So
Yeah.
we appreciate all you do. Thank you,
thank
Libby,
you.
for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Libby Emmons, again, we have Libby, editor-in-chief of Post Millennial and Human Events. Is there anything you want to close with, anything you're promoting, anything coming up soon?
Well, you can find out everything that we're doing at thepostmillennial.com and humanevents.com. We have great work up from Jack Posobiec and Andy No and all of our other amazing contributors. So definitely check that out. And you can find me at Libby Emmons on Twitter.
Libby, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
We'll be back.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm very happy to be joined by someone very important who's got a lot of information and news for us. Terry Newsom, you are a podcast host of Behind the Enemy Lines. And you and I were talking off camera, and I was just blown away by the information that you've uncovered. So important that our listeners and every American understand what's happening here in America. Yeah. So we all know that Joe Biden has wide open borders. He's inviting people to come into America with no regard for American life and Americans that are living now in cities and suburbs where there are very dangerous people. You're from Chicago.
Yes.
And you've done some incredible work. So I want you to share with our listeners what you've uncovered and what's happening because of Joe Biden's horrific policies.
Yeah, so I think everyone's familiar how they're flooding them into all the different cities throughout the United States. So initially they would drop them off in the city of Chicago, busloads. Mayor Brandon Johnson stopped that. He said you couldn't go and drop them off. So what they started doing was taking the buses from the border, dropping them off in the suburbs where I live. All the western suburbs, they have the train tracks that run right downtown. Hundreds and hundreds of them, and they would just drop them off at any time of the night. So I started going and approaching them and seeing they're mostly men. They're mostly men that are being dropped off. The second bus I approached, the gang Trender La Arguay, I'm not very good at saying the last name, they're flashing their gang signs. These are the Venezuelan prison gangs that are now starting to pop up all over the country.
So when President Trump says they're dropping their gangs, they're opening up their prisons, they're sending the worst of the worst to America, he is not exaggerating when he says that is happening. You've got proof? You're seeing it?
Yes, we have evidence. We've experienced, me and Ben Berkholm experienced a drug deal in process right across from a shelter. I got into a couple of those shelters. I kind of snuck in and got in, and I noticed they had metal detectors, wands, 5 security guards, and we've been told that these people commit less crimes than us, right? They commit less crimes than us, so I'm like, I've never had to sleep in a hotel or anything. We had to go through a metal detector.
Right.
So that drove me to run FOIAs. So the first FOIA I ran was off of the Inn of Chicago. Magnificent Mile, if you're familiar with Chicago, that's where everybody comes in to shop, downtown Chicago. They're putting them in this hotel. 2,000 of them.
Okay, so 2,000 illegal migrants housed in downtown Chicago, not far from where people are shopping, dining. It's right there.
Yes.
They're giving them free housing. We're paying for their transportation, for their cell phones, for their meals, all on the tax. A law-abiding taxpayer is paying for these people, only to find out that these are not families that are looking for refuge. These are the worst of the worst types of people that you could ever imagine.
Yep.
Describe to us, show us what you actually found and who these people are.
So I ran for the Inn of Chicago. I got 230 police reports for 2023 for 12 months. 230 times the police were called, multiple police officers, ambulance, taking them to hospitals, fights, drug dealing, weapons. Then there's another center called the Pilsen Center, and that's where me and Ben were lucky we didn't get shot when we caught a drug deal in the middle of the way, and they got out and confronted us. So I ran a FOIA on there, on that location, and this talks about human sex trafficking. using the Vortex phone. So the Vortex phone, I looked that up. The Chicago police don't support this stuff. They're pretty transparent on this, right?
Yeah.
And they specifically put Vortex phone. The Vortex phone is the old Obama phone.
Yes.
It came out when he was president. Remember, people call. Well, that's
Sure.
if you look up Vortex phone. So they give them to low income. They're giving them to all the Venezuelans.
Wow.
And that Vortex phone used the WhatsApp app, and then they have images of ladies doing, sending transactions back and forth and going to websites. Right under this here is an 11-year-old Venezuelan girl being groomed on the phone by another Venezuelan inside here. And this one, they're beating the women with the phone. They're beating them up. They're dragging them by their hair.
These are thugs.
Yeah.
These are thugs. These are scourge of society. People that come to America for the sole purpose of terrorizing Americans, trying to tear down our values.
Yes.
They're fleeing their country. They're coming here because Joe Biden's giving them a free pass, saying that they can live here forever. And these are people that are violent criminals.
Yeah.
What needs to happen, and what can ordinary people do? What should we be doing? I mean, this is...
We got to win the election. We're done.
Yeah.
I mean, we absolutely have to win the election or we're done. Tom Homan was in Chicago on Wednesday. He's like, we can't wait to get started. I go, I hope so. We'll get to move out of the country.
Yeah.
And another point too is that when I was at the Inn of Chicago, I had a Hispanic friend translate for me to Venezuelans. I said, "Is Catholic Charities helping you here?" Yes. I go, "Did Catholic Charities help you at the border?" Yes. I go, "Did you have to come through the cartels?" They said yes. So Catholic Charities, I ran FOIAs on them through the city of Chicago. They're a big time involved with the city of Chicago. They were putting them in 50 apartments a day in some of the emails I got on here.
Yeah.
So they're basically the distribution and logistics arm for the cartels. I'm a Catholic.
Sure.
I'm a Catholic, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And they're getting paid lots of money to destroy our country.
Well, that's just it. There are so many NGOs out there that are making money hand over fist, really profiting off the American people, because they're, putting I call it a front, like we're compassionate, we're trying to help
Yes.
these people. Real compassion doesn't open up the door wide open for people who are violent, who hate America, who have no business being here, and really American families are suffering for it.
Yeah. And this isn't an inner city problem. It's not a suburban. It's not white. It's not black. It's not Republican. It's an American problem.
This is an American
In the
problem.
western suburbs, my hotel, my mall,
Yeah.
150 Venezuelans are arrested since January. In the same super high end. They go in teams and shoplift. The gas station 5 blocks from my house, you go in to buy gas, so a woman will ask you for $5. The Venezuelans go through your cars. The adjacent town, high-end pool, they caught 12 of them stealing bikes.
Yeah.
And they put them on the train and send them back. They don't even arrest them.
Yeah, this is insane. And Donald Trump, in his speech yesterday, what he said is, we're going to send them back. When I get reelected, we're going to send them back. And he said, you know what the mainstream, lamestream media will do? Is they'll get that one or two, those families, the mother with the 2 kids, and they'll put that all over the headlines. But remember that we have got to put America first. I mean, all of our listeners know this. We have a president right now who is so divisive, who is putting illegals above the American. American families are suffering for it. Enough is enough. We've got to win back this country. I do hope and pray that enough people turn out, because Joe Biden is also encouraging illegals to vote. By his executive order, it's now required that the U.S. Marshal Services provide everybody who crosses the border with instructions on how to register to vote.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's gonna totally destroy America. They're gonna win over the congressional seats of the next census, 2030. They're gonna have so many head count of these illegal aliens.
Yeah.
We're never gonna win it back.
Yeah, and this is why we've got to turn out in overwhelming numbers. Thank you so much. Terry
you,
Newsom,
Rebecca.
you're doing
Thank you.
great work. I want everyone to check out his podcast, Behind Enemy Lines. It was really great. Thank you for doing this great work. Keep it up.
Thank
we need
you.
more of
I
you out on the
appreciate it.
streets
Thank you.
watching out.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll be back
Thanks.
in just a moment with some more great interviews coming right back.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page precious metals guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention...
Joining me right now is Alec Lace, the host of The Alec Lace Show and First Class Fatherhood. Alec, thank you for joining me.
Matt, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about the state of the nuclear family in America right now.
Yeah, it's decimated, to be honest with you. I'm a father of 4 kids, married 19 years. Family is everything in my life. But right now, we got a fatherless crisis going on. In my opinion, it's the #1 social issue that we have in our country right now. So we're trying to solve all these other political issues that people are talking about here. But if we don't fix this problem of the fatherlessness that's going on in our country, we're just going to be running around in circles. The foundation of the house is the most important part of the house. Without it, the house crumbles. And without our nuclear families, the whole country crumbles. And we see it. You know, you see it throughout history. You could talk about the fall of Rome, and a lot of things led to it, but you can't have that conversation without talking about how the nuclear family was destroyed before that happened. So it's vitally important.
Yeah, it doesn't get talked about enough, but it's almost as if you fix that problem first, it will naturally fix a lot of the other problems. Right now, you host a show that focuses on the state of fatherhood. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you.
When did you think this crisis started, where the nuclear family sort of started to be more broken down in America?
Yeah, it started in like the 1960s. You see the shift. I mean, it took place when you had Lyndon B. Johnson, when you had civil rights, when you had feminism. All those things came into this Marxist ideology, and a key part of that is destroying the family. So even if you look at here's one of the interesting things. I know Joe Biden likes to focus on the gun issue that we have in the country, right? He's always talking about the gun problem. But if you look at the homeowners that own guns in this country, it hasn't changed over the last 50 years. It's 45% of homeowners own guns. If you look at the amount of families that have fathers in the home, fatherless homes have tripled in that same amount of time. So you have so many people growing up, and kids that don't have a father in the home are 279% more likely to carry a gun. So this is where all this issue, we are filling up the prison systems in this country with one particular type of character, and that's a kid who grew up with no father in the home. All right, so it started in the 60s. And it's just gotten worse, particularly in the black community. I know it's been talked about so much, but if you look at the black family in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, it's intact. It's almost in the same rate as white families. You were so much more likely to be born into a two-parent household than if you fast forward today. You have 70% of kids in the black community being born out of wedlock, and so it's an epidemic. But if you look at the communities that have a tight-knit family, the Asian community, the Indian community, you don't see these levels of homelessness, of violent crime, teenage pregnancy. You see them flourishing. They're the top earners in the country, so it all correlates.
What sort of role do you think government has in this problem? Because it seems that they enjoy promoting things that break down the nuclear family, as you talk about, and they promote a lot of these things that sort of exacerbate this crisis. So how responsible do you think they are for what's gone on?
Well, the welfare system, it breeds single moms. I mean, it lives off of single moms. So there's no incentive for them to keep the family together. They benefit by not having the family together. So what's interesting, too, is that you think about Harrison Buckner's speech. The thing that upset most people about that was that it pissed off all the Marxists, right? Because it goes against their ideology of breaking apart the nuclear family. But he was speaking from that biblical standpoint, and from that point it goes God, father, mother, child. In our country, it goes government, child, mother, father, and God ain't nowhere in there. So along with the fatherless crisis, we remove the father from the home, we remove the heavenly father from our society, and that combination has destroyed the society.
So how do you think, excuse me, how do you think you change minds and get us back on the right track? Not saying you specifically, obviously, but as a country. Is it people like Harrison Bucker who speak out? Are people open to certain things? Are people closed off? Are they aware that this is going on? What do you think we can do to sort of bring things back to how they should be?
Yeah, that's the key to it, Matt. See, I'm a recovering alcoholic addict right now. Until I acknowledged it and was aware of it and said that, hey, this is a problem I have to identify, I couldn't even begin the process of healing that. It's the same thing with this issue here. We have to acknowledge it, and we run away from it. People don't want to acknowledge it. When you have people like a Harrison Bucker speak out, they shoot them down instead of amplifying that voice. Same thing in the black community. Barack Obama, in 2008, before he became president, he got the nomination, but before he was president, on Father's Day, 2008, he gave a phenomenal Father's Day speech about the epidemic of fatherlessness in the black community. Reverend Jesse Jackson got caught on a hot mic threatening him. Black leaders all denounced him for doing that, and for the 8 years of his presidency, you never heard him address this issue hardly ever again. He stopped talking about it. So we have to talk about it. This is a problem that took 50 years in the making to destroy. It's not going to get fixed overnight. This is going to take all hands on deck to get it done. Here's an interesting thing. Entertainment, Hollywood, right? They're a big part of this problem. You don't see movies that are being made with two parents that are married, stay together, and raise kids. And just because it's Father's Day, right? Jimmy Fallon put out a tweet leading up to Father's Day. Hey, tweet out about how your father has been weird or silly or dumb, something like that, right? When you look at Mother's Day, he put out a tweet saying, hey, tell us how your mom has been a super mom, right? So we have this kind of contrast that dad's the dope, and that's the way that we portray him. So we got to turn that mindset around.
Now, why do government leaders promote these things, though? You mentioned Barack Obama. So at one point he was aware that there was a problem, and very quickly it shut down. What is behind that? There has to be something behind that, because people don't just change their mind on something that big on a whim. So what is the driving force there? Is it evil? Is it actors, in your opinion, behind the scenes? What do you think is driving that agenda?
Yeah, I think if you solve the problem, you take away the funding, and that's the biggest issue. They want to keep the funding for this welfare state that they've created and all the benefits and everybody that's getting bonuses for this. The family court system is another one of these issues, right? One of the things Harrison Buckner was talking about was that, moms can stay home and raise the kids, and people were like, oh no, mom doesn't have to stay home and raise the kids. She can be in the workforce too. But when you go into the family court system, that's not what they tell you. They tell you, oh no, mom's the primary caretaker of the kid, and dad's the one responsible for the pay. Fathers pay 97% of all alimony in the country, so things aren't equal in the eyes of the family court system, okay? And because child support gets reimbursed on a dollar-for-dollar basis from the state, they have an incentive to keep that child support money coming in. And so there's a lot of hands in the pot, and there's a lot of benefits for the government to keep families separated.
How important do you think the role of the church is in fixing this issue? Is it more, there's sort of an exodus from the church, but an increase in faith right now. It's sort of a weird thing going on. Do you think we should rely more on people turning back to God to fix this problem, or is it government leaders?
Well, I don't know how much the government can really do other than stop incentivizing like single moms to stay single and keep the father out of the home and stuff like that. It's very hard. I talked to a lot of the political leaders about this issue, and it's troubling to try to figure out ways to do this from the political aspect.
Right.
The church obviously is going to play a major role in this. We need a revival of faith in this country, and we need a revival of family. So I think you know, if you're a faith-based person and you find your way back to God, you find your way back into your family. God, one of the things that's crippling us too is you have so many guys that have abandoned their responsibility as a father, and a lot of times you'll find that those aren't people that are keeping God first in their life, right? They've abandoned their faith, they've abandoned their children, and like 100 years ago, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, if you were a dad or a man that had a child and walked away from that responsibility, you were like ashamed to show your face in the neighborhood,
Right.
that you were looked down upon. Today, it's like nothing. Oh, my baby mama. It's like we talk about it at the water cooler like it's no big deal. So it's acceptable in our society now. And it used to not be acceptable in the eyes of the church. Now it seems to be a little bit more lenient with people. So we got to get back to that feeling of, hey, I'm a man, I have a responsibility, and I'm going to own up to it and show up to it.
Now, before I let you go, let's end on the topic of faith in general. How does faith influence what you do? How did you get into what you're currently involved in? Did you turn to faith? Where were you inspired to start talking about this issue of fatherhood?
Yeah, for me, Matt, everything kind of happened around the same time. When I quit drinking, quit drugging, quit gambling, all that stuff, I kind of woke up from a lot of things that was going on in my life negatively. And I was driving Uber at the time. I'm a railroad mechanic. I've been doing that for 24 years. I fix trains, locomotives, diesel engines. So I was driving Uber on the weekends and hearing this message from young men when I would tell them I have 4 kids. They looked at me like I had 4 heads. Like, 4 kids? Wow. Like, they thought of that as a shock. Like,
Right.
I can't even afford myself. Like, you know, so I kept hearing that message over and over again. And I was like, man, I should put out something like a tape just to keep playing trying to give these guys a little positive outlook on it. So that's why I started the show First Class Fatherhood. And I had Dean Cain came on the show, and he really enjoyed the episode, blasted it out on social media, went to #1 on iTunes that weekend. And so ever since, I've had so many great dads join me on the podcast. Steve Harvey, Matthew McConaughey, I've interviewed Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, all these different, Tony Hawk's been on several times, all walks of life. And all of these dads that have accomplished so many great things in life, they all testify and say, you know what, I've done this, Super Bowl MVP, a Navy SEAL, I've done all these things. But the only thing that's given me any true fulfillment in life has been through becoming a father. And I feel the same way, and so that's the message I'm trying to amplify.
That's great, and I want you to tell our listeners where they could watch both of your shows.
Yeah, let's get it. You can follow me on Twitter, or what do we call it, X now, at Alec Lace. I'm on all podcast platforms, so you can find First Class Fatherhood. My political show, The Alec Lace Show, where I talk about political issues facing parents in America today, that's on Rumble. You'll find it on The Alec Lace Show. But just Google First Class Fatherhood or Alec Lace, you'll find it.
Great. Alec, thank you so much. Happy Father's Day to you. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC. We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK, and make sure to mention AMAC Podcast to get 3 years free on your AMAC subscription.
There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. The very freedoms secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. They're trying to indoctrinate and corrupt our children in schools. They've defied the authority of the Supreme Court. They've weakened our economy with lockdowns and mandates. They've failed to keep our borders secure. They've weakened America's position on the global stage. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left, and there's an easy way for you to stand with them. Join AMAC. AMAC is the conservative membership organization that's helping to make America great again. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, many of you remember me as Hercules, facing incredible odds for the world that he cherished. But today, I'm stepping into a different role, not as a mythical hero, but as a fellow American. I'm inviting you to embark on a mission crucial to our nation's future. At this pivotal moment, America stands at a crossroads. Our unity, values, and vision for tomorrow are being tested. It might seem like the weight of the world is too heavy for one person to lift, but history shows us that it's the courage of individuals that has always illuminated the path forward. The call for heroes is more urgent than ever. Not the mythical ones, but real-life individuals like you, ready to uphold what's right, champion truth, and unite in protecting our beloved nation. You see the need for change and want to make a meaningful impact, but the opposition can feel overwhelming, leaving you wondering if one person's actions can truly make a difference. That's where AMAC steps in. We are a beacon for Americans who believe in unity, truth, and the relentless pursuit of our nation's founding principles. When you join AMAC today, you'll connect with a community of like-minded individuals. You'll have access to resources and information to empower your advocacy and amplify your voice on issues critical to our nation's future. This is your moment. It's a call to rise and embody the heroism our times demand. Join AMAC today. And together, let's forge a future that celebrates the best of what we are as Americans. Your journey as a modern-day hero starts right now. Stand with AMAC and let's show the world the power of true heroism in action. Be the hero our country needs.
we are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner.
Hello, America. We're back. What an incredible event this has been. I'm joined by my great associates, Charles Stucklin, Matthew Kane, and of course, I'm Rebecca Weber. Guys, what an incredible event, right? What did you think? What did you make of it, Matt?
It was a great event, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of people, big turnout, a lot of great speakers. And it's coming up on the election, so you could sense that people are really mobilized right now, and I think it's only going to get more intense as the months go on, but it was a great event. Very good.
I thought so too. Charlie, any thoughts on the
Absolutely.
overall
I mean, it
conference?
was exciting. An atmosphere of hope and excitement is what I take away from it. I feel like for the past couple of years, we've had a bit of a demoralization campaign for conservative media, conservative voters, but this event, people are excited. So regardless of what happens 3 months from now, it seems like we're setting the tone for some change over the next few years.
Yeah, and what I thought was really remarkable was to see how there were so many the age demographic here was
Absolutely.
really quite remarkable. Lots of very young people, college-age students, but also older people, AMAC members, and then everywhere in between, which was really hopeful to me because I feel like that's a message that America is uniting under the conservative movement, which is really promising. So many great people came by the booth, and you two gentlemen both really sat down with a lot of incredible people. What were some of the highlights, Matt? I know you had a number of interviews yesterday, some really great conservatives.
I'm a little biased. I love sitting with Paul Ingrassi and Mike Crispy, but the reason is because they come from these allegedly deep blue states, and I love that they're young. I feel like there's an infusion of youth into the conservative movement, where in years past it was probably viewed more as
the old man's club.
The old man's club. You got to be like 40 or older to start voting Republican, but you could really sense that there's a shift amongst young people, and in predominantly blue areas, not just New York, New Jersey, but you saw a lot of people from the local Michigan area and these other states that either swing or deep blue. So that's very promising to me. I love talking to those guys, and there was a lot of great guests, but those were the takeaways for me, and I really enjoyed talking with them.
You know, I think it's something about Trump, Donald Trump, that is really bridging the gap, and he's reaching younger people. I understand that. His younger numbers, that age demographic, the millennials and the Gen Zers are beginning to shift conservative. Why do you think that is?
I mean, they're excited, and I don't think they're stupid. You know, I think the legacy propaganda mechanisms, we can call them, the media, we can call them, I think that demographic is starting to really see through it. And, you know, Donald Trump has sort of been the catalyst for that whole movement over the past few years. You know, it sounds trivial, it sounds silly, but the fake news quote, you know, it's true, it cuts through. And this whole meme era of, you know, comedy and jokes, you know, why does that work and why does comedy work in general? Because it's true.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I come away. For me, you know, Brandon Tatum, Eric Underwood, you know, very interesting conversation, Nebraska GOP chair, what they're doing in Nebraska specifically, how that works with Turning Point. And Turning Point not only getting out the youth vote, but educating them on how the party works, you know, how to get involved at your precinct, how to get out the vote. You know, they definitely are leading the movement. They're leading the charge on that movement. So it's exciting.
And Donald Trump, he looks like a young man when you match him up against Joe Biden.
Yeah,
who
what did he
can't
say? I
find
feel
his...
young last night after the happy birthday. I mean, yeah.
That's right. That was really incredible when everyone in the room started to sing happy birthday to Donald J. Trump. That was a really cool moment. But I also think younger people don't really want to be told how to think.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They want to be taught, you know, taught how to think, but not told what to think. That's a better way of putting it. And certainly, it seems like Donald J. Trump is a man that's saying, you know, there's too much crazy going on the left, and what's happening at college campuses. There are a lot of good people in this country, and we've just got to make sure that they have a platform and a voice and a way to speak out. Now, when we were at the speaking event, there were so many great speakers. I know that both of you had some opportunity to listen in. Anybody there that said anything that really caught your eye?
I loved, and obviously President Trump's speech was great. It was very funny. A lot of jokes, this one. He usually has a lot, but that was probably the best China of his entire career. That was a very forceful China.
Yeah.
But beyond him, I really like Byron Donald's energy. You know, something
kind of off the cuff.
Off the cuff, he made sure everybody knew that. He mentioned that many times, that he was sort of just going. But that plays. You see, one of the reasons why people like Trump is because he constantly does that. And people don't want to see the stiff politician speaking in these like grandiose, we're gonna, you know, do all these great things, and it's really just fluff. And I think now because of Trump, there's that appeal to just hear people who are saying what they genuinely believe. And whether you agree with that or not, there's an appeal, whether you agree with what they're saying,
Yes.
it's appealing to see people just genuinely saying what they believe. So I thought Byron's was very good.
Yeah, and Lee Zeldin had a comment where he said, we talk a lot about what we don't like, but we don't talk enough about what we do. And I think that's a good thing to take away is, and that kind of coincides with Donald Trump saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to use foul language much anymore.
That was interesting.
He's
wasn't
going to
it?
try. He's going to try.
Franklin Graham has had a great influence over Donald J. Trump.
And he was close a couple times, but he kind of held himself back. I think there's a realization of, hey, we really need to start, there's a lot of complaining, there's a lot of bad things that are going on, but there's no way to change them unless we have hope for, what the alternative is. So I think there's a realization of that, and it's a good thing to see.
If I could just add to that, see, we're living in this time where things are so bad for our country, but when you're here, there really wasn't a focus on the negative. There's a ton of enthusiasm here. So I kind of sense that too. We have all these people speaking here, and if you were just in this room or in this event, you would sort of feel that things were good. And I think there's a lot of power in that because there's a spirit that you wouldn't think would be possible based on all things going on. So I thought that was a key takeaway.
And it's contagious.
It
It really is. People are saying if you can speak out and you're not afraid to say what you think and feel and what you see, then I can do the same, which is really great. We need more of that. I really liked Dr. Ben Carson. I thought he was I love his delivery. He's so calm, and he's really right on when he said, we have one thing on our side. He said, we have a God who loves us, and that's really all we need. And faith seems to be alive here at the People's Conference. A lot of people of faith that understand that our freedoms don't come from government, from a king. They come from God and God alone. So what an incredible event, and just so proud of what you two have done. Really engaged with so many great thought leaders, so many conservatives. We've got some incredible interviews and really just an opportunity for AMAC to get out there, engage with the community, engage with the people of Michigan. I think Michigan very well may go red.
Oh, I think so too.
Good chance.
I think so. I think with everything going on, I don't see why any state should be considered out of reach. People are fed up.
Yeah, now with Lara Trump and the new RNC announcing that they're going to be deploying a huge legal team out there, and there are a lot of poll watchers, it's going to be interesting. Some might say that might be they could have done it a little bit early, but combining this atmosphere and the positivity we're seeing along with the changes at the party, at the RNC, it seems like there's some good things ahead.
Yeah, and thanks to our great AMAC members, because without you, we wouldn't be here. Without you, we wouldn't be able to get the work done that we're doing across all 50 states. So thank you so much. Be sure to tell your friends and family about AMAC. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with some more great interviews from Better for America. But that's it for now. Have a great day, America. We'll see you soon.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today. God, family, country. As Americans, we are bound by a unique set of values and principles that have shaped our country since its inception. These values are the cornerstone of what makes America great. At HSP Direct, we stand firm in our commitment to conservative values and the American way of life. Through direct marketing fundraising, we partner with conservative groups like AMAC to tell their unique story and effectively reach a generous and captivated audience. In a political landscape where the left outspends us, every dollar counts. But at HSP Direct, we're not just fighting back, we are winning. Join us in making a difference for the future of our country. Choose HSP Direct for all your fundraising needs. Because together, we can build a brighter future for America. Find out more about how we can take your fundraising to the next level at hspdirect.com.
Does social engineering from leftist corporations make you feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone? If so, you're not alone, and that's why we're proud to stand behind a wireless company who stands behind your values. I'm talking about Pure Talk, an AMAC-supported wireless company on the nation's largest 5G at half the cost of the big three. So I challenge you to stand with a company who champions your values. Those of you who have always had your neighbor's back, you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you still believe that the flag stands for freedom. It's time to join the masses who have fled their old wireless companies for something better. Pure Talk. Pure Talk gives you phenomenal coverage on America's most dependable 5G network for half the price of the other guys, with unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year. And as an exclusive AMAC partner, Pure Talk will give you 3 years free on your AMAC subscription. Just dial 844-8-PURE-TALK and mention AMAC Podcast to make the switch. That's 844-8-PURE-TALK.